Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Kurt, and welcome back to Far Lands or Bust. Waiting for Wolfie to bark. There he is. He did it again. Oh, God. Okay. Well, we have a friend. We have a friend. Hey, guy. How's it going? Wanna go for a swim? That's the rock and roll tower. Giving the devil horns right there. All right. So you want to dance, eh? Wow, how many arrows does it take to kill a creeper? There we go. Alright, so, that was exciting. It is the morning of this day on episode 195 of Far Lands or Bust. Let's do that. Let's grab Wolfie, and let's head west. And let's continue raising money for Child's Play charity, why don't we? We are currently at $6,615.87. And I think we just watched that cactus grow right before our eyes. It's excited. Oh, God. The Child's Play charity fundraiser over at farlandsorbust.com. Raising more money. That's great. Last Saturday, this past Saturday, we had a Scotch Saturday live stream. Wolfie enjoyed it, obviously. And I set a little mini goal during the live stream that we should reach $6,500, and then I released one of the two photos that I took in Minecon Paris. The first being in front of the Eiffel Tower, and the second one being in the I forgot what room it was called in the convention center, but they had all the little models and the little like farm setup for little baby Minecraft animals and a wolf, of course, so I had to have my picture taken with the wolf. It wasn't Wolfie. It was a little baby wolf. And I thought of afterwards, I personally should have been wearing the 3D glasses, but I also should have put 3D glasses on the wolf. What was I thinking? I'm crazy. Do I have a boat? I do not. Oh, I need wooden planks. There's some trees up there. I'm going to avoid that, so we're going to go for a little swim, because I don't want to, even though that's a very interesting feature right there. Too many cactuses. I do not trust Wolfie McWolfington, Esquire the Third Jr. to navigate that safely. That's cool. I like how there's trees on top. Just random thought of the day. I like how there's trees on top. So yeah, we reached 6,500 during the live stream, so I showed that picture. I'll put a link to the twit pic in the video description or something, if I remember. Probably won't. But yeah, so yeah, now we're up to $6,615, and the Jason Statham, I always forget the word. Not incentive. It sounds much more intense and Jason Statham-y. The Jason Statham, I have it written down as incentive because that's what I meant to call it, but I came up with a different word. The Jason Statham, this is gonna bother me. We are not continuing until I can remember what I said, Wolfie. The Jason Statham starts with an I. Ah, God. What is wrong with my brain? Well, I know in general, but today, right now, and more specifically, the Jason Statham Initiative. The Jason Statham Initiative. Ka-chung. So that is still going on, and that is if we reach $10,000 before the end of the year. It is December 3rd right now, but before the end of the year, if we reach $10,000, watch it. I will get a Jason Statham haircut. That is to say, a buzz cut. Get a buzz cut job. And we'll see how that goes. It's not like anything traumatic for me. But it is something I've been personally meaning to do. Just never having the guts to do, so a little bit of a stunt, an incentive, I guess. An initiative, if you will. So yeah, let's get ourselves up to $10,000 for Child's Play charity before the end of the year. All of this wool, bye. And that'll be great. And also another thing that's going on is with the Hank and John Green, the Vlog Brothers channel. They do I really wasn't full-time on YouTube last year, but apparently they did it last year. They do a Project for Awesome 2012. And there's its own channel, but apparently it's just an initiative, if you will, to have YouTubers, of any size and description, post videos supporting and informing people about their favorite charities, and kind of encouraging donations. So I'm thinking, I think that's on December 17th is when they've instructed everybody to upload their videos and tag it properly with Project for Awesome. I think I will make a video. Obviously, I will. I might not be the only one, but I'll be talking about Child's Play charity, being that's what we're supporting here in Farlands or Bust. So look forward to that on the 17th, and certainly go check it out. I think it's projectforawesome.com or .org, one of the two. Hopefully one of those. And they'll have information about how you can participate and post videos and just be all around not forgetting to be awesome. So yeah, wow, this is awesome. This little landscape right here, I love that hill. I love it. It's just like it's sloping. You normally get hills and mountains that are just cliffs and crazy stuff like that, but I like how that one is, hey Wolfie, just like, see you later, boat. Very naturally sloped. Cool. I like it. I must climb this hill. This rolling vista. Like the Windows Vista background wallpaper. I guess that's the Windows XP background wallpaper. That always reminded me, as much as we'd like to forget Star Wars Episode 1, there's that one battle scene with the Jar Jar Binks characters. I don't know what they were called. Oh, well, so much for it being a rolling hill. It just kind of cuts off on the end. There's the one battle scene where they're going up against the droids, and it's like a very green, hilly area, and I'm like, this is the Windows XP wallpaper that they are fighting in, isn't it? Ooh, spoilers and zombies. And spooky noises and piano music. Wow, careful, Wolfie. Alright. Uh-oh. Hello. Wow, this is an interesting area around here, isn't it? Cool. Kind of reminds me... Hello? Anybody, like, trying to make a hidey hole? That's kind of scary. Yeah. There was an area like this in Combat Canyon. For those of you who remember Combat Canyon. Where there was just kind of a lot of these openings and giant underground chasms and things that we explored. I actually had somebody at Minecon ask me if Combat Canyon would return. I'm like, no, that was an old series that I had. It was my first series that I did in addition to Farlands or Bust. I started out just doing Farlands or Bust, and then I realized I really sucked at the in-game combat, so I'm like, Combat Canyon. So... It's in the history books, but I don't, being as that the seed, the world that I generated for that was a very awesome canyon world, hence the name Combat Canyon. I don't think there's much of a way I can bring that back. Oh, there was another thing, a moment in Minecon happenstance. Wow, speaking of canyons, awesome. BOO met C418. And of course, the first thing he asked is whether or not he could confirm whether or not there was a morning and nighttime song. The sun's setting, and I just had a song. Of course, C418 couldn't answer because he doesn't program in the music into the game, but that was kind of a funny moment. But yeah, a lot of this stuff was starting to come back, and that's the reason I did the Scotch Saturday Weird live stream last Saturday, and I appreciate those of you who were able to join and kind of were patient enough with the fact that it really wasn't, and I never billed it as a normal live stream type situation. Alright, I'm going to have to Do I already have beds? I do, and I have dirt, and I have torches. Oh, alright, let's do this kind of weird. Whoop. Dang it. Alright, that'll do. So yeah, I'll this episode, the next few days, I will recollect some of those recollections, for those of you who might have missed the live stream, and we'll continue talking about Minecon. So... And the canyonness. Whoop, watch it. Sorry. Just landed on his head. It's kind of cool. But yeah, that was one of the stories that B00 met C418, but didn't quite get the answer he was hoping for. Although there's, I know Seth Bling offered to do some like scientific experiments. Which would have basically involved just sitting still in a world and recording when music starts to play and when it doesn't play, or sunrise or sunset, or what songs play and stuff like that. So that was interesting. But yeah, a lot of the most frequent questions I got during Saturday's live stream about Minecon were I sent out a tweet after we had arrived. I think we found the Starbucks and actually had Wi-Fi for a few moments. But I sent out a tweet after we had arrived in Paris saying that we arrived, blah, blah, blah. But then I put the hashtag nearly died. And a lot of people took that as, with the flight, we nearly died. No, the flight was fine. Well, I mean, as fine as it could be. We really didn't, we didn't sleep as much as I personally had hoped. Being as we took an overnight flight. And, arrived morning Thursday in Paris. It would have been nice to have arrived fresh and refreshed, but we didn't. The nearly died hashtag was for the cab ride from the Paris airport to Disneyland Paris. We made the rookie mistake of not really planning ahead in terms of how to get from the airport to Disneyland. We know that there's the high-speed rail, the TGV or whatever. We ended up taking that the last day on Monday from Disneyland to the airport. Very convenient. And then there's also the standard metro where you can take into Paris and then switch lines and then on the way out to Disneyland. None of us had this information at hand. So we're like, we're 4 strapping young lads. We can handle getting a taxi, can't we? And sure enough, the quote-unquote... Oh, sorry, Wolfie! Oh, God! I am so sorry. Oh, God. I'm just trying to... There's another kind of mystery hidey hole. This is animal land over here. Hey. I'm going to try to, boop, without... There you go. Sorry. That's what I meant to do. And now you get just flooded. Oh, they stand up when they get water. That's interesting. So will you sit back down, or are you just gonna hop like a madman? No? Okay. What was I gonna say? Yeah, we got in a taxi. It was one of those guys at the airport. Oh, you need a taxi? You need a taxi? You know, they were like waiting at the line where you get out of the secure area. Ended up going with that. The guy originally said 45, so we're like 45 euros, as in he held up his hands, 4, 5. Okay, that's, we agreed upon that. And then as he walked us out to the parking garage, as things started to get more and more suspicious, we're like, this doesn't seem right at all. He had a van that was not marked with a taxi sign, nor did it have a meter. So he definitely was not a legitimate taxi. So as we started driving, we either decided that we were all going to be murdered in the woods, or we would die simply by the fact that he was a terrible driver all over the road. Like, it's quite possible he could have been drunk. We don't know. But yeah, all over the road. But we did notice that we were actually following the correct signs on our way to Disneyland. So our worries were eased that we might have gotten murdered, or robbed at least, at gunpoint. But We got to our destination, the Santa Fe Hotel, Disneyland Paris. Swanky accommodations. And, got out, got our bags. We're going to give the guy €50 because we're nice. No, he says. 4-5. Holds up his hands. 4-5. That didn't mean 45. He got out his iPhone and typed in 90. 4 plus 5 equals 9, which then translates to €90 for the trip, which we could have sat there and argued about it for days on end, whatever, in broken English or whatever he was speaking. But I was like, whatever, take, haha, you got the stupid Americans with money. Take your money and get the hell out of here. So that was the story behind the nearly died hashtag. So I apologize for some confusion. We didn't almost die on the flight. We almost died. As is the case, like they say, you're more likely to die in the ride to and from the airport than the actual flight itself. So watch it. I'm gonna punch you again accidentally, Wolfie. So that was that. That was kind of an interesting story. I suppose the other guys might have a little bit. You might want to watch some of BOO's or Generic B's or Juicer's videos. They might have a different account of the way that went down. But like I said, I'm just glad we got there in one piece. It actually, for whatever it's worth, the €90. That's a weird cloud. DL. It's like the disco sign, the Minecraft map builder disco. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, for the €90 for 4 of us, actually turned out to be cheaper than on the way back. We individually purchased tickets on the TGV to the airport. So, of course, the TGV was not at all shifty and illegal, and it got us there in 10 minutes. Hello, Wolfie? There he is. Okay. Woof. So yeah, that was one of the stories that popped back into my head, and we had a good time sharing during Scotch Saturday. Another question I got a lot is, what is your favorite thing about Paris, being as the first time I was in Paris or France or anything like that? And, oh, I probably don't want to stand on sand. Okay. Hello. Weird. Woof. My favorite thing, it's kind of a weird thing to say, but, if I'm taking away, I'm not talking about Minecon or the fans or the people, obviously that's the main reason I went, and that was the cool part of the trip. But the public restrooms, in France and Paris in general, were quite well appointed. For those of you who aren't aware, in the United States at least, and from what I hear elsewhere and in the UK and stuff like that, you got your public restrooms and the actual toilet. When you got to get serious, the actual toilet, there's a row of toilets and they're just separated by kind of, very flimsy walls at times with, a little latched door that always has, there's always like a foot or so of space underneath. So if you do want to check to see if it's occupied, you just see if you see feet underneath. And you're lucky if the lock and latch actually works. Otherwise, you got to kind of prop the door shut with your foot or something. That's normally my experience with the public restrooms spawner in the United States, as opposed to in France as a whole. I was surprised. I thought, okay, maybe this is just Disneyland. But in France as a whole, we went to Paris, and even the small little cafe that we ate at. The bathrooms, the actual the serious business parts, they're like in their own rooms. Like you go into the bathroom, but then there's like separate rooms and like full-size doors with locking deadbolts. It's all like its own room, and it's I almost said airtight, but like you're not exposed. You don't hear sounds of the other bathrooms and things like that. So only one chest here, guys. Yeah. Well, Screw you guys. Very, very nice. Very, very comfortable, I guess you could say. So I appreciate the restrooms. Even the McDonald's. We stopped by just to use the restrooms, a McDonald's in downtown Paris. And even they had the fancy self-contained bathroom stalls, which was very nice. Although, like I mentioned during the live stream, the flip side is you can't, obviously you can't fit that many when you're building an entire room for each bathroom. You can't fit that many in a small space, so there aren't that many available. So I know, at least at the McDonald's, the women's restroom there was a line out the door. So Doc's girlfriend was just like, nuts to that, and she just went and stood in the line in the men's bathroom. So, which I'm just completely fine, because they're all the same thing. They're just individual rooms. So good job, Paris and France, on the restroom situation. You've got things under control there. Other things, perhaps not so much, but that part you've got down. But yeah, let's go to sleep here. And once again, awakeness. And continuing with all the Minecon stories we got. Got a bunch. What was another thing? Oh, a lot of people were also asking if I was able to, since I have gone gluten-free, and a lot of people might have missed this. I keep getting this question. Oh, are you celiac or whatever? I don't know for sure. I have yet to visit an actual doctor facility to get properly diagnosed, but it just appears like a few months ago I got really sick, and I've always had issues, just random out of nowhere issues with that stuff. and then it's been suggested by you guys and also just by doing research that this sounds a lot like at least a gluten intolerance, if not full-blown celiac disease. And gluten, by the way, is just a protein that is found in wheat, barley, and rye. So things like bread, obviously, anything with flour, stuff like that. Which is a lot of stuff. Breadcrumbs, pretzels, anything, a lot of stuff, really. Bread is the biggest thing, obviously, but even some sauces and stuff. I know I used to, you get those rice packets that you just simmer and, Spanish rice or whatever. A lot of those have some sort of wheat or gluten in them to have like to thicken the sauce or something. But regardless, so the last month or so I have been, after self-diagnosis, gluten-free, and I've actually been doing quite well. So I think that might be what it is, but I still have to visit the doctor, like I said. So I was concerned about Paris and France. They are big on their croissants and their breads, their French breads, and their gluten delivery systems. And I faltered on the first day on the flight over there. You get a meal. Our first, we had a connecting flight in Montreal, and we actually were running late. Our flight was delayed a little bit. So we didn't have time to stop and get actual food, so we had to rely on the airplane food, which is questionable at best. So I'm sure there's gluten all over that, and I didn't eat that much of it, but I ate some of it. And then by the time we were about to land, they fed breakfast, which was a blueberry muffin, and I was very hungry, very, very hungry, sick hungry. And it might have been also a little bit of motion sickness from the flight or not being able to sleep, just exhaustion. But somebody lost at sea who gives in and deliriously starts drinking the salt water. I had the blueberry muffin, so that was a mistake from the get-go. So even before we landed in Paris, I lost the gluten-free battle, and that was a problem later on. But yeah, in Paris, in Disneyland, I know somebody on the Mindcrack Reddit tried to, they linked me to a PDF of what allergy information and gluten-free stuff you could find at Disneyland. There was nothing, in any of the restaurants or any of the places that indicated that otherwise. So it was basically up to guessing. I was like, okay, white rice. This white rice has to be fine. Or stewed apples one morning. We went to the brunch of our hotel one morning, which was the last time we went to the brunch because it was really crummy. Stewed apples, it turns out, is applesauce. It said, all the translations of what food is this? It said stewed apples. I'm like, this doesn't sound appetizing at all, especially for breakfast. No, it was applesauce. So usually applesauce should be fine. So yeah, it seemed like the first day I was there, I was kind of eating a regular amount, and then I did start to have some issues, and then I got well acquainted with the fine the fine restroom facilities of Disneyland Paris and France in general. So the last, especially the first day of Minecon, there's that Friday and then Saturday, I just stopped eating a lot. Like for the first day of Minecon, the first dinner we had at the buffet, which was Tex-Mex or whatever, there was a small, what was like leftovers of some fruit. There was like some apples and like a very deadly looking banana. I saw one apple that looked halfway appetizing, so I grabbed it and just kept it. I'm like, this might come in, this might come in, burp, there it comes. No, this might come in handy later. And that was like the last, you'd think fruit is cheap, in these buffets and around the hotels. They'd have like fruit out, Nope. Just plenty of croissants and bread. So I had that for breakfast on the first day of Minecon. And then, of course, I didn't eat until after the panel and the whole getting pinned in the corner by fans signing autographs. And then it was Abby and Ipla who were able to literally, they're like, sometimes you see like athletes or celebrities who have like handlers who like, when they're at events, they move them around and say, okay, this person has to go now. Like Notch had a handler and like Notch had a bodyguard, actually. Big guy who rip your head off. So yeah, they were like, all right, Kurt has to eat. He's looking pale. And I was like, it was 4 p.m. by that point, and I ate a single tiny apple at like 9 a.m. So yeah, we went. The one place everybody ended up hanging out a lot for meals and stuff was the Earl of Sandwich, which is a sandwich shop. It was the least busy of the restaurants in the Disneyland area. There was, especially during meal times, there's lines out the doors and wait times beyond an hour. So this was more of a cafe style. You order, you pick up your stuff and sit down. There was also a nice upstairs area. I'm sure you've seen video and pictures. That's where we were signing all the Mindcrack postcards. A nice upstairs area with big tables that a lot of people could sit down at. So we frequented the Earl of Sandwich. The food was on the more affordable side in terms of what we could find, but it still wasn't all that great. I obviously couldn't eat any of the sandwiches, but they had salads that were okay-ish, depending on what dressing you got with them, which was variable. But yeah, those last few days, because I just simply stopped eating a lot, I started to feel a lot better, but also, get crevasse, get a little bit more regular. TMI. But yeah, I did actually end up. I weighed myself after I returned, and I did lose another 5 pounds, which I think I since have gained back. So I'm still a very skinny, scrawny guy, especially since being that illness that one time where I lost 20 pounds. A couple months ago, but yeah, it was difficult-ish. I mean, I suppose if you're a person with a really like fast metabolism who has to eat a lot, it would have been a lot more difficult. But I'm all right with as long as I'm not like running any marathons or anything. I'm all right with not eating too frequently. So yeah, it was okay. But it's definitely not very gluten-free friendly of a place, I'll say that much. But I survived. Indeed. Sun's kind of setting. You guys might have known, especially since the Saturday live stream. I've still been, even after Minecon, I'm still been a little bit, I think I've recovered pretty much from the jet lag, but I'm a little bit out of it, out of my groove of making videos very infrequently. I know YouTube also is having quite a few moments where they're in read-only mode, so we can't upload or post or anything like that, so I guess good timing on my part, but like I said at the Mindcrack panel, if I was to only have one series, it would be Far Lands or Bust. So Far Lands or Bust is my #1 priority for the charity, for the Jason Statham incentive, and stuff like that. So you can, that's why I'm recording Far Lands or Bust. But I am trying to get back into things. It's just a little bit, like I said, still it was a little bit of a shocker for me. And now that I've met a lot of people and been a little bit overwhelmed by all of you, I'm a little bit frightened of you guys. No, not really. It's just still recovering. It's good to take a little bit of a break. But we'll be back with more Dirt 3 I have to record. That's a fun game. I'm enjoying that game. Obviously, like I said, I want to get back on the Mindcrack server to try to test out kind of the shorter video format I could try there. What else? The Hawken, the third and final closed beta, is actually going on right now until the 6th, and then it actually comes out for open free-to-play open beta on the 12th. So I'm hoping to get a few, even if I don't record it, just a few, times to play Hawken while it's still in closed beta. So perhaps that. I know I installed it and updated, and they reset all of... Oh, this seems like a good hidey hole, hey? No, that actually seems like it's a perfect place for a creeper to fall on my head. Ooh, magical. Here's a hidey hole. Hidey hut. It's more of a hut. It's an above ground. Come on, Wolfie. Oh, there is gravel, however. Gig. Alright, let's sit down, Wolfie. Up. There you go. Have a torch. Let's properly close ourselves in. I've got gravel, why not? And yeah, I think, those are some stories from Minecon. Once again, thank you everybody who oops, I'm blind, who was able to come by the live stream and ask me questions and help get my noodling to recollect a lot of these stories from Minecon to share with you guys. I know Eatblah and Good have returned, so they're starting to post a lot of videos and content and pictures and stuff. So check out their stuff if you're even in the more of a hankering for content about Minecon Paris weekend, and then they had the London meetup as well. Arrows. I recouped the arrows that I used at the beginning of the episode on that creeper. How about it? Even Steven. What do I got to do? I have to make 3 beds. That's not how you do it, Kurt, but close enough. And let's make a boat while we're here. And let us remind ourselves to head over to farlandsorbust.com to contribute to Child's Play charity. Like I said, trying to reach $10,000 for the charity before the end of the year as the Jason Statham incentive. Then I will get a buzz cut, and we'll see how weird I look with that. Hopefully, I'll just be like Jason Statham. Hello there. Let's get in my Audi or BMW sports car and drive around like a madman as we try to save the world from some small mafia thing that's trying to smuggle human trafficking or whatever all of his movies are about. They're all the same, aren't they? So yeah, do that at farlandsorbust.com using the chip-in widget on the homepage. I appreciate everybody following along and being patient with my little bit of a hiatus here from so much video content, but we'll get back into the swing of things. We will. And we'll onwards and upwards with the YouTubes and Far Lands or Bust and Minecraft and everything else that we're doing. I do appreciate it. My name is Kurt, Thanks for watching. I will see you next time.